Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to another show. I have been doing an hiatus of some sorts. Not really, though, because I've been on my other channel, just haven't been here. But hey, I decided to. Well, actually, I wasn't going to do this stream because I don't like doing political streams. But I decided during my outings today along Jane's Strip and doing everything else, doing some grocery shopping and picking up stuff for my home, I decided, you know what, screw it. If you're gonna have a political take on something and you say you're gonna vote for a specific person, typically, you have an idea in your head as to why. And this is what puzzles me is why would you, yeah, Jane Strip is Jane Street. Yes. I was at Jane and Exbury slash Jane and Chalk Farm, aka, good old Chalk Farm area on Jane, just north of the mall. I actually was supposed to go to Downsview Park, but that didn't pan out, so I went to Downsview Dells Park, which is a complete disaster, of course. So I decided to check out the Exbury Street apartments, which is, part of the Jane Strip, right across from Chalk Farm. And next time, yeah, good old Chalk Farm. Yeah, Monty is in the hood. See, even Cypher knows that's the hood. Chalk Farm is literally like when you think of a hood on Jane Strip, you think of Chalk Farm. Well, actually, there's multiple hoods on Jane Strip. You can think of Chalk Farm, or you could go past Jane and Finch, kind of towards Jane and Steeles. Even Jane and Steeles itself has its own repertoire. But the two biggest hoods on Jane Strip would be like Driftwood and Chalk Farm. And when I say Chalk Farm, I also mean Exbury. But typically, even if you say Exbury, people just put those two together and just say Chalk Farm. Further north, there's Shoreham, and then there's Driftwood. But people typically just put those two together as well and just say Driftwood Strip, or you're on Driftwood turf and whatnot. So yeah. All right. Yeah, Jane and Steeles. Jane and Steeles is another area, right? Yeah. So I was at Sheridan Mall, doing some stuff. I actually won an auction because there's two auction houses I go to now. Before it was used to be one. I go to like Auction Max, and now I go to like I think it's called like Bids 416 or 416 Bids. But yeah, I won an auction. I picked it up and then I was on the strip. Okay, so it's not like I'm wasting time or anything. But hey, let's get into this. So typically, if you're a person who likes political commentary, like I say, man, you have to have some sort of acumen going in. Even the the political minds that a lot of people like to listen to. Who's that guy called again? That guy that made his internet footprint through Occupy Wall Street. Who was that guy called again? I keep forgetting. But that was a huge movement back in the day. Who's that commentator guy? There's that person. Then of course there's one of the biggest political commentators. I mean, there's also Vosh, but when you think of Vosh, you will also think of why is my mind not figuring out names? I I have no idea. But pretty much, their bread tube is what they will call them, right? So pretty much, yeah, Tim Pool. Yes, thank you, Cipher. Tim Pool. Yeah, made his internet footprint through Occupy Wall Street. So now we have a whole host of political commentators. I mean, from all walks of life coming through. And one of the things they say is, whenever you're gonna have a debate, you seriously have to read up on your stuff. No matter how good you think you are, no matter how great and amazing you think you are, only an idiot would have a political discourse and not have his point or his his train of thought, his political vehicle intact and ready to go. Because then you're just a jackass that you think you're gonna spew shit and somebody's just gonna believe it. Especially when on the other side you have somebody who has been doing political commentary for years and they're just gonna literally run circles around you. Seriously. So we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this because this is just dumb. You should literally brush up on, you know, what your thoughts are, what your reasoning is on anything. Like whether it's Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool, Destiny, or Vosh, they all study, no matter how good they think they are, before they get into a political debate, discourse, discussion. All right. So anyway, let me get into this. I don't want to waste more of your time. Let's get into this, and maybe I can share some pointers for your caca because I'm Canadian and even I know this shit. Let's go.
Miss Parker,
Yes,
you said, why you calling niggas bitches? Like, what's up with that?
because
don't
I
agree with
smell the
everything you
bitch
do.
on you.
How you spell it? You're not even near me.
I mean, dude, it's real strong.
I want to know what we disagree on.
We disagree on a lot of things, like abortion rights. Do you think that a woman has a right to get an abortion?
Oh, it got heated. Oh, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there was a lot of fire. Somebody got flambéed.
So what's our topic, homie?
How you doing, Miss Parker?
What's our topic, homie?
Well, you know, I just wanted to say, I just think it's just
What's our
different
topic, homie?
when you debate Democrats and when you debate Republicans. I talk like this because I'm unsure, and I like to talk to the Republicans and I talk to I like
My man, your shit is breaking up really bad. I don't know if you can hear us, but it's breaking up real bad, man. Sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt, but it's just
this is bad.
He's probably out. He's probably doing something.
He might be, but what I'm hearing, I'm going to respond to what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is what he's saying is he rides the fence. And he has a very large prolapsed asshole that can.
Oh my God!
Mrs. Parker.
Oh, brother! Oh, no.
Come on, man.
I apologize. I can't understand between.
I gotta say, he honestly got dog walked by Mrs. Parker. Seriously, like, how could you get such a credulous dragon by somebody who knows their way around the political pond? I mean, this is one of the big reasons why he should have taken the option. He had connectivity issues. Get off, brush up on what your political take is, and then come back with a fresh mind, a red mind as well, and start your discourse with Mrs. Parker. She's going to drag you like she did. So I don't know what he's going to do. I'm not even sure if he's actually addressed this, but honestly, yeah, she ripped him so bad.
The breakage of the, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying.
She's trolling now because she can't hear you. Yo. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Miss Parker? Miss Parker.
Yes.
You said, why you calling niggas bitches? Like, what's up with that?
Because I smell the bitch on you.
How you smell it? You're not even near me.
I mean, dude, it's real strong. I got that big nose, you know what I mean? Bell pepper looking ass nose. You know what I mean? I can smell a lot from a far way away, and you smell like a bitch to me. That's just my opinion. Now I have a right to my opinion, and I have a right to speak my opinion because I have, you know what I mean? Now, if you don't like it, that's fine. We can have the conversation, but you asked me and I gave you an answer. What's the next question?
Yeah, but I want to know what we disagree on.
We disagree on a lot of things, like abortion rights. Do you think that a woman has a right to get an abortion?
Yeah. I said that.
And do you believe a woman has a right to get an abortion no matter how far along in a pregnancy she is? You're breaking up again.
There he goes.
Yeah, we can't hear you. You're muted, my guy. Yo,
Hold on.
mama. No, I can't hear you. Like, it's a bad connection.
You're muted, BGTV.
Niggas.
Hold on.
Like I said, if
All
you
right,
want
can
to
you hear me
do
now?
this conversation
we can
at
hear you
another time, like, I'm gonna be real with you, yo mama. If you want to have this conversation at another time, we can. Because like your connection is a little
Yeah.
Spanish, and it's gonna make it real hard for us to have a conversation.
No, I can hear you now. I'm in a
All right,
better
now you're
spot.
good. You're good now.
All right.
Yeah, I'm in a better spot.
Okay.
Now you said
Does it matter how far? No, the question is, does it matter?
Okay, hold on. Everybody pause.
Okay.
Mrs. Parker's question to your mama. Wait, your mama. Mrs. Parker's question is: doesn't matter how far along a woman is, before you think she shouldn't be able to have an abortion.
All right, y'all. I'm turning the camera off then. Fuck it.
Yeah, like I said, my personal take is a certain amount of time, like 8 months is just too far. But there's far left, there's far right. So I stand on the middle. I stand on pro-choice. I'm this on K Jr. is because he's pro-choice.
Yo, mama, your phone keep breaking up, dog.
This is honestly worse than the Donald Trump Elon Musk conversation.
All right, honestly, I gotta say one thing is he's leaning towards Trump, Trump being reelected. And hey, nothing's wrong with that. I've said multiple times before, my channel's not a political channel, and anybody and everybody's welcome. It doesn't matter what your political views are, because everybody will have an opinion, right? Once again, I'm in Canada, and I even have an opinion on what is happening in states. Because why would I do that? Why do I have this opinion? Because it affects me. Not as much as people directly in the states, but Canada is called America Junior for a reason. And even though we do have some shielding from any political maneuvers that the states do, we're not completely shielded. So we will have some effect, especially when we have multiple treaties and we share multiple resources, from anything from gas, oil, energy that comes straight from Canada into the States, right? So based on that, like, he says, okay, he is, his political take is one way, but then he wants to vote for a guy whose agenda is to take away those rights from people. So it's kind of muddy at this moment in time. And when I was listening, I'm like, you want to vote for Trump, but Trump's political stance, well, actually, even Trump's political stance has changed ever since his presidency, right? Because before he was anti-crypto, now he's pro-crypto. It seems his political stance will change to whatever will get him in the White House, which honestly isn't exactly a bad thing, but still, you got to make a stance, right? Because with me, I don't like wishy-washy people. I want to know that what your political stance and take is what you will bring into, the White House, or if it's in Canada, what our prime minister will bring with his term. Like, I don't want a person who tells me one thing and then goes and gets the presidency and does another. It's bullshit.
Like, I really think, your mama, we should just do this another day, because wherever you are, your connection is bad, my guy. Like, and I'm not even trying to like rail you, because I would love to like drag you over the coals legit, but I feel like this isn't fair because you're not able to say what you're trying to say, my guy.
Yeah, why don't we schedule it for a day when you're like home, and then y'all can actually like legit talk? Because I'm
I really want to talk to you, but it's like your audio is bad. The chat's letting you know, like, we can't hear you.
So I was saying, I'm pro-choice. I'm voting RFK Jr. But like I said, I voted Barack Obama, and Barack Obama was supposed to make Roe v. Wade the law of the land, but he didn't do that. So I feel like Democrats they use that tool of Roe v. Wade to get people to vote for him because they had an opportunity to make it the law of the land and they didn't do it. So that's why I don't fuck with Kamala,
Okay.
Joe Biden, all of them. That's just
Can I address that? Can I address that? So Roe v. Wade happened before Barack Obama, right?
Right.
Okay, and that was something that happened to it was a case in the Supreme Court, correct?
Right.
Okay. So Barack Obama had nothing to do with Roe v. Wade being passed in the Supreme Court.
No, he's talking about being overturned.
Exactly. So during whose administration was Roe v. Wade turned over?
Let me explain it to you real quick.
No. Stop. What I want you to tell me is whose administration overturned Roe v. Wade? Was it Barack Obama, Joe Biden, or Donald Trump? Which administration overturned Roe v. Wade? Which one? The Democrats or the Republicans? Who was in power?
Biden was in power.
Trump, you were right the first time. Donald Trump. Donald Trump's administration overturned Roe v. Wade. It's one of the things that he is running for right now. He's proud of it. He boasts about it today. So if your concern was,
I get it. You know, Trump did boast about it because it was the agenda for the Republicans as a whole to overturn Roe v. Wade for what, like decades now, right? And it has been set up. This is why New York State knew that it was actually all of the Democrats knew it was coming, but New York State made sure that they implemented certain rules and laws to ensure that even though Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022, that it wouldn't affect the rights of all pregnant people, including minors, transgender men, and non-binary people in that state. So it got overturned in 2022. Who was in power in 2022? I'm just saying, okay, Trump is definitely gonna be like, yes, I was integral in overturning it, and some people are for that because if you look at what Trump has done when he was in office, he did a lot of things. Like, there's so many things I could list, to be honest with you, about Trump's. Like, there's always going to be good and bad. I can't even say that it's all bad because Trump did have some positive footprint when it comes to the economy. And I'm just going to be really with you. There's always going to be bad and good in terms of somebody's presidency, and you and within, like, even when somebody's presidency starts and there's always these positives, that doesn't necessarily mean, or it actually doesn't mean that that president is responsible for those positives, because when you change the rules and the laws, it takes time for it to come into effect. So sometimes within the first year and a half, you actually got to look at the previous president and their stance and their rules and their laws that came into effect that are now having a positive or sometimes a negative effect on what you're seeing currently.
The Democrats making sure that we hold on to the rights of a woman to be able to control her anonymity when it comes to birthing rights, then why then can you argue for a man who wants to strip it away?
Now, okay, now let me get you let me get your political take, because remember, this was already going to be a problem. If you remember when Bush was president of the United States and he tried to elect the Supreme Court justice, he got Roberts in there and he was going to elect another one. Now they were going to have two Supreme Court justices, which would have put Roe v. Wade in jeopardy. Now, if you remember Reed, he held the vote from Bush to give it to Barack Obama, so Barack Obama can appoint the Supreme Court justice to keep it in power. And he held it, and he put that old woman in who died, and Trump got to put a replacement in for her. But it was in jeopardy, and everybody warned Barack Obama, Roe v. Wade is in jeopardy. When you become president, hold on, let me just explain.
Yes.
Let him finish the statement.
In 2008, when everybody said, Barack Obama, we voting for you, you're about to get the House and the Senate. It's a landslide. Everybody asked Barack Obama, Roe v. Wade is in jeopardy. The next president could put in 2 Supreme Court justices. You just put in an old woman that could possibly die at any time. If a Republican is elected, they are going to be able to put another justice in, and the court will roll over and get rid of Roe v. Wade. They asked Barack Obama, and Barack Obama said, "Okay, I got the House, I got the Senate."
He fumbled.
And when they talked, and he said,
fumbled
you know what Barack Obama said? I'm gonna tell you what he said.
What he said?
Barack Obama said, wait until the midterms, and then I'm going to put it in. Guess what?
So he fumbled the ball
out in the midterm.
Right? Exactly. He fumbled it. He waited until his lame duck year and he fumbled it, right? But what matters, but here's the thing, what matters to your mama is protecting a woman's reproductive rights. I'm onto something. Hold on a second. So it's protecting a woman's reproductive rights, correct? That's what you care about. You care about protecting a woman's reproductive rights. She has the right to decide this stuff. So then again, it takes me right back to the same question, my guy, in 2024. Why are you willing to vote for someone? I don't care if it's Kennedy with the fucking worm in his brain or Trump, who's willing to say, we want to take away a woman's right to reproduction. Both of those candidates are all for eliminating and regulating reproductive rights in this country. So no matter how you slice it, home slice, you're still voting against your interests. So how do I square this circle with you?
Parker.
That's the thing that I didn't get. Yeah, he's literally voting against his interests by who he says he's gonna vote for.
Okay.
Yeah.
He couldn't defend this position.
I want you to open up your brains.
I'm listening. All my folds are open.
Listen, when you're able to do something, and when you're able to make something,
check your phone.
When you're able to make something the law of the land, and you tell people, and I'm here, and I'm like, okay, Obama, I'm voting for you, Obama. You're gonna do this, and Obama say, nah, we're not gonna do that, because we're gonna hold the abortion thing over people's heads. So people like you can fight. You can keep on fighting for abortion rights.
It's a mirage.
Thinking that they care about it.
Exactly. It's smoke and mirrors.
No, they don't care.
It's smoke and mirrors. They're using it for elections, right?
On the ballot forever.
Exactly. They're using it for the vote, right? It's smoke and mirrors. Got you. Okay, so let me ask you this question, my Hotep brother. Okay.
I love that. Hotep. Okay. We coming. All right. Can we even go back to this whole Merrick Garland thing with the President Obama nomination and how it was blocked by then Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell? Like, doesn't even matter now, because what's done is done, right? And this whole thing, I remember when it was happening and Obama tried to appoint Merrick. And then Mitch McConnell was like, "Yeah, it's if you try and declare any appointment, it's going to be null and void, because it's the next president that needs to elect whoever is going to be in SCOTUS because of this, because of that, because Antonin Scalia died, etc., etc., etc."
Just smoke and mirrors, right? That's all that it is. It's all smoke and mirrors. They're just trying to get us to talk about stuff so that we're not paying attention. Like, look at the right hand and don't pay attention what the left hand is doing type situation, right? That's what you're telling me, right? Okay, we're seeing eye to eye. I'm willing to meet you where you're at, but there's still a logical fallacy here. Because no matter how you cut this pie, homie, the reality is that there is a party that is trying to take away the rights of women's reproduction. And there is a party who's trying to liberate women when it comes to their body and their autonomy. My question to you, my guy, is where do you stand on that hill? Period.
Where I stand
you brought me Bush, brought me Obama.
Is that Timber? No, that's Nova Ray.
You brought me Donald Trump, but you have yet to tell me where you stand.
Okay. Now, this is where I stand. See, you said it's a party that's trying to liberate and trying to fix this, right? But I'm trying to tell you that they're not. They want.
You're breaking.
Isn't this Miss Parker? Yeah, it's Mrs. Parker speaking, but Nova Ray is on there. I'm looking and I'm like, who could you confuse with Timber? Yeah, probably Nova, because there's Nova, BGTV, Yo Kaka, and Mrs. Parker.
Looking up, homie.
I like. Where is this fact coming from? That's
they want to make this is a fact, because listen, Biden, they asked Biden, they said, wait a minute, Biden, you know what the Supreme Court justices, you can add another Supreme Court justice. You get the Senate to vote, right? You can add another Supreme Court justice, and you can add another Supreme Court justice to get rid to vote over the other ones that are already currently in. He could have did that,
Yeah,
but he didn't.
Oh,
He
can
didn't
we
even
talk
talk
about?
about it.
Wait a second.
Why?
Pause. Hold up.
Because he had,
No.
wait,
Pause.
Mr. Parker, let me
Pineapples.
tell you why.
Pineapples.
Why?
Pineapples. I'm gonna tell you
Hold
why.
on.
Hold on.
Because
No.
Joe
Wait, hold
Biden.
on, hold on.
No.
Wait.
No.
Come on,
Let
guys.
me
Come on.
interject.
Wait.
I
Pause, both of
apologize, but
y'all.
let me interject. If
Wait,
we're going to
Ms.
talk
Parker.
about Donald Trump's lame duck year and why he wasn't allowed to appoint somebody to the Supreme Court, we need to talk about those Republicans that blocked him from doing so, who said that in the last year of a presidency, you're not allowed to give a president the appointment to put someone on the Supreme Court. But in the exact same fucking breath, 3 years later, made sure Donald Trump could appoint 2 motherfuckers. Let's be real. Let's
Mrs.
talk about the
Parker, hold
history
on,
for what it
hold on.
is.
Pause that right quick.
Go
What
ahead.
Ms. Parker is referring to, for anyone who doesn't know, in 2016, President
Hold
Barack Obama nominated Merrick Garland, to the U.S. Supreme Court,
Yep.
but the Republican-led U.S. Senate effectively blocked Garland's appointment. So go ahead.
And Ms. Parker, and Ms. Parker, and I want you to read this off too. Who held the vote for George Bush? They did this. The Democrats did the same thing to George Bush. George Bush had the option to elect somebody into the Supreme Court, and they held his vote to let Obama elect the person. They did the same thing to George Bush, and that's where the Republicans got the idea to do it back to the Democrats.
Actually, I'm gonna need you to go back and look at your dates, because you're about 14 months late on that one. It's a common misconception that's been thrown out there by the MAGA and the QAnon, but that's not true. You can fact check it.
Oh, I did fact check it.
Then you should know that you're wrong.
Reid had the Senate. Bush was president, and Bush was supposed to elect.
Let me ask you this question, and I appreciate.
And this is a fact.
I'm willing to give you that. Listen, I'm willing to give it to you. I'll give you all of that. Cool beans. I'll give you all that. Can we speak about systematic policies that are put into place to oppress people, to make sure that they're not able to exercise their electoral rights in this country? Are you willing to have that conversation with me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool beans. So, are there any?
I remember back in the early 2000s, I was in Florida, and what was shocking to me then is what happened with the whole George W. Bush situation and Jeb Bush. Because I was there. I was living in, at the time, Pembroke Pines. I don't think I was in Miramar then. And I remember that my girlfriend at the time, she was trying to vote. And then her friend was like, hey, I can't vote. They're blocking us voting. And I'm like, are you serious? I think she's making this up, because I wouldn't think at that point in time, like, people would actually be blocked from voting. But with my own eyes, I literally was seeing people being blocked from voting. And I thought, in this day and age, are they really doing that? But it seems it's a common theme if you do a little bit of research into it, that every time there is an election, there's always going to be some sort of propaganda to try and thwart people from voting, either by telling them the wrong dates and times, or just effectively just blocking it. Is this a live panel or we're watching recording? We are watching a recording from a few days ago, vouching. So not a lot of people know about this. Some people do, some people don't. But he went up on panel with Mrs. Parker, and she dragged him. How were they blocked? They were using law enforcement officials, to literally block people from going in. And I saw it with my own eyes, because I was in Florida then, and I couldn't believe it in that day and age that was happening. And the thought and consensus was, hey, it was one specific party that was doing this. Like, you can even read it up. Like, I'm sure if you like Google it, like the election, um let me look it up, because I haven't looked this up in a while. But it was happening. Like I said, with my own eyes back then. I could not believe it's 2004 election. I remember what was happening.
Any situations in human history, in American history, where we have systematically restricted people from being able to vote?
Yes, 100%.
Do we still continue to do that?
Yes.
Yep.
And where do we see that the most?
We see that with the Republican Party.
The Republican Party is systematically stopping people from voting, or the Republican Party has been systematically ostracized from voting?
No, they've been stopping people from voting because the less people that turn out, the better the options for them to get who they want in. That's why that's why we don't go by the popular vote and we go by the college, the electoral college.
Okay. What is the electoral college?
The electoral college is state by state. They go by the highest number.
Okay, it's simple. Okay, I'm willing to take that. And do you believe that Donald Trump, Mike Pence, Roger Stone, and the MAGA movement tried to overturn the electoral college during the last presidential election?
That would be a hell yes. That's why we had that stuff in January. But hey, do you know that the United States is the only democratic system that does this electoral college stuff? Any other democratic country in the world has moved on from this. If you look at a list of all the countries that used to do this indirect voting in of a leader at such a level, which countries was it again? Like even let me look this up. But really, if you check this out, America is the only country these days that does indirect electing of your leader, pretty much. So is it going to be done away with? It could.
It's a yes or no question.
Give him a second. It might be a connection issue. I don't think he's being quiet on purpose. It might be a connection issue.
Well, sometimes you gotta feel out if somebody does have the political acumen to even get into a debate. Never have I ever, and this is the thing. And I think he kind of fumbled at first when he says that he'll vote one way, but yet his political agenda and ideals would be thwarted if he does vote for that one specific person, which is puzzling to me. It's puzzling to Mrs. Parker. So I think this is why she was taking this stance with him to try and figure out, does he actually know what he's talking about?
Mom, are you there?
I don't know.
Oh, shit. He's on his phone, so he could have hit a spot that's dead, and the icon doesn't just disappear sometimes when you're on a cell phone.
I know, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, when you're in the computer, it's gone immediately.
Quick.
Yeah, but not the phone.
Okay.
So he could just, there he goes. There he goes.
Hey,
yeah,
we can hear you. What was the last thing you heard?
Go ahead. What you say?
He said, she said, what was the last thing you heard when she was speaking?
No, I heard she was talking about how the Republican Party oppressing people and they vote in electoral college.
Okay, do you
about the electoral college and over the popular vote? Yeah.
Okay, do you believe that Donald Trump and the MAGA movement tried to overturn the last election? Yes or no? Using the electoral college.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do believe there was some type of coup with Donald Trump, correct?
Well, I believe this is what I believe, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with you.
I'm here.
It's like Abrams, because I was 100% with Abrams, and I felt like she got robbed the same way, but she held it for like 2 years and said that the vote was stolen from her and stuff like that. And I was riding with her for that because I felt like the day of, the same thing with her, and that happened to Donald Trump. The day of, and I remember Atlanta voting and everything happened. It was just so weird the way the count was going. Things were stopping, and then it took a minute for them to say who won. In usual elections, it don't work like that. Usually they have it the next day.
Usually, how long does it take? Wait, Okay, cool beans.
Maybe,
Wait,
That's
wait,
fine.
one second, one second.
Hold on, Miss Parker.
I think he's
say.
talking about the mail-in ballot. Am I correct?
Yeah.
I think
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. And so the election day happened, and I was just thrown off because here you got Trump up for 2 days, and then we go to day 5, day 6, and then all of a sudden Biden got the lead. That was just too much for me. I mean, you stop and vote. I mean,
Okay.
Nevada stop and vote. Arizona
I'm
stop
willing
and
to
vote.
listen to you.
Atlanta
Okay,
stop and
can
vote.
I answer?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I maybe explain it? Okay.
I will say one thing: the whole Georgia thing with Kemp and Trump is heating up. If you've been paying attention, a lot of people have been paying attention to this. I mean, because Georgia is a very important state, right? Didn't Biden finally win like a 30-year? He got rid of the 30-year Republican hold on Georgia, didn't he? In the last election. So a lot of people are looking at Georgia to see, are the Democrats gonna hold it, or the Republicans, or are they gonna take it back? And when you're at a standstill with a governor and you're both within the same party, that is not a good thing, because then people are looking like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do
So
when I'm in
the
Georgia?
election day, quote unquote, that you know of, like our generation, we're used to this idea that there is a quote unquote election day. It's really goes on for about a week. No one can count all those votes that fast. It takes a long time, but media over the last 25, 30 years had made sure that when we watch the election, we have something to watch, kind of like the Super Bowl. We get to watch the numbers tick back and forth, the percentages. We get all that wonderful little adrenaline back and forth. But that's not how an actual election works in this country. Do you think that when millions upon millions upon millions of people vote, that they can all be counted within 24 hours? Like, especially if we're doing mail-in ballots that start.
Can I interject? I think, isn't it?
I was also gonna say, didn't like the pandemic really have a stagnant effect on all that voting?
350 million people in this country.
350 million votes.
Of course, not that many people vote, but it's still in the
we
hundreds of
literally
millions.
start counting
I
mail-in
think less than
votes
half do
3
vote.
weeks before the end of an official election. So
Now-
when you think about that, no, I mean,
Yeah.
just honestly, when you think about that, do you honestly think that we're going to
Oh, no.
have all of the numbers?
I think it's higher. Okay, I thought about half or even less. The 2018 election, there was a 49% turnout. But the elections of 2018, 2020, and 2022 were three of the highest turnout US elections. Yeah, because I'm thinking, isn't it typically in the States like less than half of people vote? But it seems about 2/3 of the voting eligible population turned out for the 2020 presidential election. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, because that was a very monumentous vote, and a lot of people were concerned slash interested. So that makes sense.
On that magical media night, or is it more likely that the media night of election day comes as a political, like it's a show? People have to sell something on television.
There's a little bit of a political theater, and then they usually just call it when it looks
and
like
we
a
have
person is
time
winning.
zones, not even including the time zones from the Pacific all the way to the Atlantic. You show huge time zones.
And like you said, and whose fault is that? Like, we are used to
gravity time. The hemisphere.
I'm saying we're used to a certain day, like you said, a Super Bowl. If I'm watching the Super Bowl, and I'm used to all my years of watching Super Bowl as a kid, the game ending that night, and then all of a sudden, for the first time ever, the Super Bowl ends 5 days later. Am I supposed to just automatically
Thank you for saying that? No, I understand where you're coming from. Thank you for saying that.
Well, wait, but the last election, though, of course the votes were gonna be counted more methodically, I would think it would take longer. Not only is the effect of being in different like time zones and whatnot, but then wasn't Donald Trump declaring if he doesn't win in certain swing states that he would want a recount? So when you're constantly being pitched that and you're seeing it on the news outlets, wouldn't you think that they would make sure that the counting was super legit, if I can't even use that term, by maybe doing a little bit slow so that there's less burnt votes out there? Because yeah, he's gonna question everything, isn't he? And didn't he even he questioned Georgia, didn't he?
No, I appreciate what you said there. That makes a lot of sense because you're using what I said and you're making the comparison. Okay, here's the difference between a national election and the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl happens between two finite teams during a finite time. The American election happens in 5 different time zones with hundreds
Mm-hmm.
of millions of people
Yep.
over the
She
course of
walking him.
months.
She
We
walking him.
start when you start doing mail-in elections, you know what I mean, mail-in election ballots, that's almost a month before the end of the deadline. So it does take time to count all that
Yeah,
up. That's
and
just
So
time.
Parker, so what you saying is you shouldn't call a state until every vote is counted, right?
Absolutely, yes. And I'm telling you this as somebody who's worked in statistics. I've worked in political statistics before. Yes, when they're
And
giving you those numbers, wait a second, let me just
yeah,
explain something to you. When they're giving you those numbers on the news, they're giving you those numbers on it's a best estimate. It's the best guess. This is what we know right now.
Yep.
That's it.
okay.
It's not
Also, real
calling
quick,
anything.
I'm
and
sorry,
that's
Miss Parker. Real
and
quick,
that's
just to
go ahead.
wait, your mama, just to interject. We also have to keep in mind that the last election was in the middle of a pandemic, so there was a lot of people who had
Very
safety
different.
concerns,
Yeah.
and a lot more people decided to mail in their ballots because of that. So you have to also consider that, for why it
I
may
mean,
have taken
I
longer
mean,
to
Gore.
finish.
Gore Bush was kind of trippy, with the whole
It's
Florida
really
and
hard.
that thing. It
I'm
was kind
gonna
of trippy.
admit,
But
listen,
I agree. But listen, I agree 100% with Miss Parker. I think instead of, because it confuses a lot of people when California has the most mail-in votes than any other state, and then when it closes in California, they're done with their election. Well, they call California within 15 minutes. But then we go move across the street, across the street from us, Nevada, and Nevada's on hold for 4 or 5 days. That kind of throws people off. You know what I mean? Here's
Mhm.
California with all these
there's
mail-ins, and
first of
Nevada's
all, there's
right across the
different
street.
time zones. Every state is different. So that's another thing that I think a lot of people don't understand. And this is something I said during when I was watching you, and I said it to myself. I was like, he doesn't understand politics. He doesn't really understand how the federal government, how the electoral college, and how democracy works in this country. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now to your face. I think that you're just ignorant of a lot of the technicalities of the way this works. This isn't me shitting on you. I totally shit on you when I like call you Drake and stuff like that, but that's like tongue in cheek. But like what I'm saying right now is I honestly think like you just might be ignorant of some of this stuff, which a lot of people are. That's not me shitting on you. It's just the truth. It is really complicated to understand our political system in America. It's not as black and white as people want it to be. It is not a Super Bowl. It's not it's not a game that you play and all of a sudden somebody wins and somebody loses. That's not what's happening. There are so many cogs and so many things happening at once that we have to pay attention to all of it. Period. And I think sometimes when we get super emotional or we fall into whatever little bubble we're in, we tend to lash out at anyone who's not in that bubble with us. And I think that's where you are, your mama.
What's Mrs. Parker's real girl content? Well, I remember her going at it back and forth with DC Media Girl, but I think she has a pretty big focus on politics and certain things like Roe v. Wade, abortion rights and whatnot. But yeah, she's with Petty Fam, so she'll hang out with like BGTV, Nova Ray, um, Frank as well, I guess, from the Geek Room, if I'm not mistaken. You know, all those types of people.
You're in this bubble where you're like, look, this is how I feel. These are the people who identify with how I feel, the cognitive dissidents, and you're willing to go and stand on that hill with them. Cool beans, whatever. That's what democracy is. Thank God there are more people like myself who are willing to look a little deeper, to dig into their epistemology, to look into the history and understand where we've been and where we're going, who are willing to take this country to the next place. You represent maybe 30% of the country. I represent 57% of the country, as the last poll show. So I appreciate being able to talk to you, but I'm gonna be completely honest. I think your brain is full of rocks.
Damn.
Right. No, well, this is my opinion. I'm like very high up on you know, political, because I know my background on, you know, basically everything. I mean, I don't vote sheep like and just in line with everybody else. Again, I voted for Ron Paul. Farrakhan also was another person who supported Ron Paul even over Barack Obama, as as he was running for the Republican Party and against all the Republicans in 2008. Very strong politician, great candidate, somebody who was for. I mean, if you go look at his politics, you would know. But again, a lot of people that I have a conversation when I talk to, they kind of only vote one way or vote one item or whatever benefits them in any kind of way. But like I said, what you think is not going to make a difference. If you vote Kamala or whoever in as a Democrat, it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to change the Supreme Court. She can't put nobody in because you have to wait till somebody either dies or goes away.
Yeah, no shit. With SCOTUS, you got to do that. That's why it's SCOTUS, because you can't just. It's lifelong appointments. There's a reason for that, so that people can't swing or sway the law. Yeah, she definitely didn't hold any punches, but here's where it gets interesting, because now he has to defend his position. If he says he's gonna vote for a certain person, which will be Trump, then please express with valid points. Just verbalize them. You don't even have to point towards, readings and whatnot. Just verbalize, hey, I'm gonna vote for this person because of these set points and these policies that they will put in place that will make my life better. So how is he gonna verbalize this?
Oh no, he went.
I didn't do that. I was like, I didn't do that.
Is that actually true? Kamala Harris used to date Montel Williams? Are you pulling my leg right now? Because I'm gonna look it up.
Actually, Biden is trying to either add to it. They're trying to add to the Supreme.
There's Democrats like.
Wait, your mama. I just want to say you dropped out for a second. So when you came back, you were talking. So we might have missed the last.
Oh, she really
10, whatever you said 10 seconds ago. We didn't hear. Sorry.
Okay. What I was saying was like you said, with Biden winning.
God damn it!
You went away again.
Oh, sorry about that. Here, let me say that again.
Okay.
Like Biden, like BGTV said, Biden want to add somebody. He wanted to add somebody, but you got people like Manchin and people in purple states that are like secret, like somehow sort of Republicans, and you're gonna have the same thing with Kamala. She's not gonna be able to fight. There's a couple of people that, like in Virginia, that's running also. That's a Democrat. That's just like Manchin. There's a couple of Manchins out there, and there's a couple
really
of
complicated. You're right. You're absolutely. It's really complicated. Could I ask you one question?
There's like 4 or 5 of them, so she needs those votes in order to.
I do have a really serious question though. Like, if I could just ask you like a really point blank question, like legit. Okay. Do you understand that a vote for Donald Trump is a vote for someone who wants to be a dictator and destroy our democracy as we know it? Would you vote for Trump? Or do you understand that that's a problem?
Absolutely not. I think that
You would not.
absolutely.
Okay.
No. I said absolutely not. I don't think what you're saying about Donald Trump. I think that's kind of far out. As a black person and as people
Wait
in,
a second. Is it far out? Because didn't he literally say that that's what he's gonna do once he's in the presidency? I'm pretty sure there's been news articles on that. Let me look that up. Um, that he's just gonna stay in office. Let me look that up while he continues.
my neighborhood and people around, we've already had Trump for 4 years. All the scare tactics about this is going to happen, World War III, and all this other stuff. I mean, we heard a lot of stuff when he beat Hillary Clinton.
Then can
We
I
heard a
ask
lot
you
of
this question since we're
nothing
together?
like that. I'm sorry.
As an African American myself, I am not voting for Donald Trump. Can you help me understand?
Okay, so here we go. So AP News reported Trump's vow to only be a dictator on day one. Okay, so that's where we get these dictator on day one shirts, but people might be pushing an agenda saying that he's gonna be one for life. Gotcha, but you never know what he's gonna do. This is the thing why people will or won't vote for Trump, as the unexpectedness of things. Some people like it because they're like, we need a political shape up because he's the first person to be elected to the presidency to POTUS that doesn't have any military leadership or a political office previously to his presidency. Any other president has had military or political leadership of some sort.
Or convince me why I should vote for Donald Trump. That I'm not going to sit here and I don't want to dog walk you. I'm willing to meet you where you're at. I want you to convince me why I should give my vote to Trump as a black woman.
I mean, what I hear and the people around me and the people that talk to me, they basically voting on economy. Wealth was better. They bought homes was at one, interest rates was at 1%. People were able to, groceries, inflation wasn't high, and I mean, the only bad things you really had about Donald Trump was his crazy ass tweets and whatever like that. I mean, we can live back in a world with crazy ass tweets, but we be able to buy groceries at a low price. Like that's what people are going to vote on. People are going to vote on their wealth, like how they felt 4 years ago, than how they feel right now. And people can make that choice. Like, yo, I felt like I was living better when I was under this man's administration. And
so as a black woman living in the Tennessee, Kentucky area, as I'm in the South, right? The gas prices are exceptionally low right now. They're lower than they were under Trump. My groceries are pretty good. Like I'm able to buy all the groceries that I want. I'm able to eat what I want.
Is that actually true that it's lower under Trump? Does anybody live in that area? Because looking at the statistics, gas prices actually were down under the Trump administration. Um, U.S. wages were up under the Trump administration, and there were several other factors. I also gotta say that I'm looking at pre-pandemic because the pandemic did raise unemployment to like I think they were saying like even up to 19+%. And of course that would be a given considering a lot of things even US manufacturing output in the pandemic obviously dropped quite significantly. But before the pandemic, US manufacturing output was actually up. Um, gas prices were down, employment rates, even for people of color POCs, because there was a divide in terms of housing segregation. Like Donald Trump versus Obama were on two different spectrum when it came to housing segregation. So Donald Trump did get rid of certain rules that Obama did put in place. But if you look at black unemployment rate, we were at the lowest in several years under the Trump administration. And now, please don't say I'm for Trump. I'm actually not for or against Trump. I'm just telling it like it is. That overall U.S. unemployment rate and black unemployment rate was actually down during Trump's administration. It's a given. It's there. I can give you the links to it.
I want. I'm able to work when I want to work. I'm able to stream when I want to stream because when I work, I make a decent pay. right? Like I feel really good under this administration. My godkids have the medicine that they need. My second oldest godson has insulin that's not taking up his entire allotment for his insurance every month, as opposed to when he was under Trump, when it was way higher and we had to put in $200 to $300 a month just to make sure he could live. I feel very comfortable in the situation that I'm in right now. So as a Black woman living in the South, I don't understand where you're coming from, because I'm in
Okay.
red states. Like I said, I'm in
Okay.
Tennessee and I'm in
Parker.
Kentucky.
Well, the whole Obamacare thing. So she's saying that under the Trump administration, it was more expensive. But what Trump actually did, and some people will agree with this, some people won't, is that didn't he bolster Obamacare by setting certain protocols where you didn't have to have insurance? Isn't that what he did? Because I was actually looking at this, because I'm not gonna get into some sort of freaking political debate and not look this shit up. I'm not yo caca. But what? Never have I ever says gas and food prices have been the highest I've ever seen recently. Yeah, there's several factors for that. The biggest factor that I would say would be the pandemic has stalled the economy for a couple of years. I think we are probably close to the end point of the stall of the economy, and we're slowly gearing back up to what should have been. And with that said, whenever you stall an economy, just like a car, you stall a car, you can't get back up to the same speed your car was driving before you stalled it, right? The same thing with the economy. And then you're going to have shortages like we had car vehicle shortages. So the prices went up, supply and demand in effect. Food prices up, supply and demand in effect, because there is people, food. And even with the whole food thing, we say that food is scarce or there isn't enough food, but in reality, there is enough food for everybody in the world. It's just that people in control of such things will use it as a factor of control. So whenever I hear people say such things as, "Oh yeah, people in certain areas, certain countries are starving because there isn't enough food," technically there is, but it's just that people will always use certain things, just like Roe v. Wade. They'll use it as a point or axis of control to control other people, and the same thing that they would do with food.
And you're in California.
Okay.
So I
Parker,
want to
I'm
make
gonna
sure
go.
that, go ahead.
I'm gonna go off of what Nova said,
Mhm.
because Nova said this. Nova said Trump's economy wasn't Trump, it was Obama. You got to give props to Obama because it's the last president that was in and that gets the success of the economy of
I
Obama.
love that
So
you said that.
it,
Can I piggyback off of
yes,
that?
hold on.
I
Okay,
love that
okay,
you said that.
and
Thank you so
okay,
much.
and
So the
so
point
the
that's
4 years,
being
and
made
so the 4
there,
years,
Facts, fish.
okay, and the 4 years that you got under
uh-huh.
Trump was basically Obama, because I mean Trump kept everything
No,
Obama.
that's not how it works. So here's what you're
But that's what
understanding,
Nova
what
said.
you're doing. That's, first of all, Nova's not the president, nor is she a monolith of Black people, and Nova's not that smart. So we're not going to go off of what she says.
Oh, we're
She's
not
Puerto
going off
Rican.
that. Okay,
We're not.
okay.
She's
So
joking.
what
She's
we're,
joking.
yeah.
Okay,
So
he didn't
what
get the,
we're going
he
to go
didn't get
off
the
is the
tax cuts.
actuality.
Wait,
Here's
hold
the
on,
thing.
hold on. Y'all both talking.
Wait,
Calm
yeah.
down.
Yo,
She was
mama.
just
I
joking.
just
She
want
was
to say this.
joking.
I want to say
First of
this.
all,
I want to say
Nova,
this.
listen, your mama, calm
Yeah.
down. I'm just, it's tongue in cheek. She is making a point that when a president comes into office, the first year, possibly 14, 16 months of their presidency
Right.
is actually the result of the president before them. And
Thank
that's
you.
just how laws and time work.
I will wholeheartedly agree with that. That is 100% cold, hard, goddamn truth. Because people, whenever they do this whole first 100 days in office thing, I cringe at that, because I'm like, that's because the other president that was in office before you, their laws, their rules, their orders had that effect on your first 100 days, your first year in term, and then either you're gonna go with what they've done and add on to it, or you're gonna subtract from what they've done, which is what Trump did, right? Because Trump was supposed to repeal and replace Obamacare, but a lot of things happened with Obamacare. Of course, yeah, a lot of you in the chat right now got affected by that stuff. Mrs. Parker talked about it. Although I do have a different framework and stance in when it comes to Obamacare, but hey, that's just my agenda right there. I'm still in Canada though.
So it wouldn't be the whole 4 years. It would be the first year or so. Do you understand?
Whoa. He kept. Obama kept the Bush tax cut. Trump kept the Bush tax cuts. He cut spending to the Defense Department. Matter of fact, I want you to look at this, Ms. Parker, if you want some real facts. If you go look at Donald Trump spent more money, spent like a Democrat. Matter of fact, a lot of Republicans didn't like him because of his spending. His spending was like a Democrat. He spent like a Democrat domestically.
Actually, Ron DeSantis hit him about his spending. Actually,
exactly.
He spent a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He spent a lot, and he spent a lot.
He did.
Hold on.
But how does that help your argument?
Let me explain. He spent a lot on like a Democrat does on communities, different things, different issues.
No, not on communities.
Colleges.
No, not on colleges.
What are you talking about? He gave ownership. My friend who businesses to African Americans. Matter of fact, you might.
Are you talking about those PPP loans, my guy?
No.
Wait a second. Hold on. Are you talking about the PPP loans, my guy?
My guy, don't leave me hanging.
My guy. It's a yes or no question. Are you talking about the PPP loans?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was a huge tax fraud. The majority of the people who got PPP loans are either in jail or being tried for fraud right now. The only people who actually got those people, the PPP loans, literally frauded the government.
There was a lot of fraud with PPP loans, but I think we're over exaggerating here because there's been a focus on that. But if you look at the statistics, the amount of convictions for PPP loans, how many was there? I think, was it the Inspector General that talked about this? Like, there's probably 70,000 or something fraudulent PPP loans, but the amount of convictions is just a literal drop in the bucket compared to how many applications and approvals there was when it comes to the whole PPP program. I got to look into this a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure there has only been what would be considered, once again, a drop in the bucket or a handful of convictions compared to the amount of people or businesses that got those loans. I was even hearing the story about what was it, like a whole police department, forgot if it was like sheriffs or whatnot, and some of them were being charged and investigated for like PPP loan fraud. And I was like, that's incredible.
Are you talking about the same PPP loans that millionaires, NFL teams, and celebrities were using to line their pockets? Are you talking about those? And are you admitting that one of your homeboys did it? Like, you're being a snitch right now. I need you to retract that. Are you saying that one of the
what money are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Because right now you're implicating the homie in fraud.
First of all, the PPP loans was you talking about during COVID. I'm not talking about the PPP loans. I'm talking about.
But didn't he just say he was talking about the PPP loans? Am I hearing things? I'm pretty sure I'm not hearing things because I'm hearing this for a second time. He literally said, yes, I'm talking about the PPP loans, and then she detracts from his political position. Then he says, oh, I'm not talking about the PPP loans. Then what are you talking about, sir?
I gotta look it up what the name is, but he gave a lot of black businesses a tax cut for any black businesses that was created, and it wasn't even formed under Donald Trump. Matter of fact, that came.
So if it wasn't formed under him, then why are we giving him credit?
That because he took what Bill Clinton did. Bill Clinton did that. He made that act. And he took that act and he used it for his administration. Listen, let me tell you something, Ms. Parker, about Donald Trump. And I want to tell you this straight off the rip.
Tell me, because I did the whole deep dive. Tell me about Donald Trump, my guy.
Ms. Parker, I'm gonna tell you about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the guy who takes everything from every other president and uses it. If it's good, he's going to keep it. He kept Obama's border laws. He kept that. They called Obama.
He didn't keep Obama's border laws. He actually made them worse.
Not to make me fuck up my laptop, you lying ass light.
Wait.
Oh, got him. No, he didn't just say that. Okay, now Mrs. Parker's gonna come in for a slam dunk here. She's gonna come in for a slam dunk. Okay. Oh, why would he say something like that? He didn't. Okay, Trump's like one of the main political agendas for Trump was the whole border. How the hell was he keeping Obama stuff? Okay, yeah, Obama did deport more people in his presidency than Trump. If you really look at the data, that's why he was called. What did they call him again? Like a deporter in chief or something like that. But still, no, they did not have the same political agenda when it came to securing the borders, sir.
Wait.
Calm down.
Hold
Calm
on,
down.
hold on.
Obama deporter in chief. They didn't call him Obama deporter in chief. That man was the deporter.
No,
He
yes,
was
they hold on. They called
They-
Obama deporter in chief, yes, because he did deport a lot of people. But
He
with
did.
with his
Crazy.
right, but with his
I
what
thought
you're
you was
referring
cool with
to
that because
is
you're saying that the
hold
border
on,
was a problem.
hold on. What you're
I'm
referring
sorry.
to?
I'm sorry.
Are you referring to the cages or what?
Yeah, the cages too.
Okay, so again, to reiterate what I said on the last stream, when it comes to the cages, the Obama administration did build the cages. However, during that time, the process was that families would stick together when they came across the border. So the cages were inhumane. I don't condone the cages. However, the plan was for families to stay together. When Trump put through his policy, that is a policy that separated the kids from the families. So that's where you got the kids in cages. So he didn't keep Obama's policy; he made it worse. Good.
But Nova, I want you to notice that they going back to the separation. You know why they going back to separation, Nova? Because of human trafficking. A lot of them kids have been coming across and with numbers on their chest, and then they just drop them off at these homes, and they said that their uncles or cousins or something like that. Trafficking. You do not want to put children in the same.
Wait, hold on, Miss White. Your mama. Can I ask you a question real quick? I just want to ask you one question.
What is it talking about?
Where's the source for this
Yeah,
information?
where did you get that information?
Oh shit! I shouldn't have said anything.
Damn it!
God damn it!
Damn it!
I'm sorry. Whatever. When he comes back, let him talk. I'll shut the fuck up.
Him trying to convince me to vote for Trump. That's where we're at. He has done it again. He's moved us away from what we're talking about. He was supposed to convince me as a Black woman to vote for Trump. First it was groceries, and he couldn't get me with groceries. Now we're on to human trafficking.
I still gotta look it up because literally, I did look up the whole groceries thing, and I guess maybe, my data. When did my data end? But it says that during Trump's presidency, the cost for food was actually down compared to Obama's. So I can say that at very least. In terms of Biden, I'm gonna have to look that up. But even the whole Obamacare thing, overall, Trump did change up Obamacare, and it made Obamacare plans increasingly unaffordable for the unsubsidized. So if you were unsubsidized, you're in big shit, right? But the overall, Trump during his presidency did significantly boost funding for Obamacare, so he actually did strengthen that. And this is coming from real data. I really don't have. I'm not gonna swing one way or another once again because I can't even vote because I'm in Canada. You guys can vote though if you are a citizen and you're not a felon, because there's still people that are felons still voting, and that is gonna land you in jail. But I did look it up. All right, so never have I ever says there's no need to look it up. I bought groceries for years, the same items. I know how much more it costs now than before. Yeah, I think what's happening is that the pandemic did hinder. Of course, it did hinder the economic growth to the country, and it did cause food prices to soar, of course. So what we need now is literally policies in place to kind of get these food prices in check because they're overinflated. So yeah, you are right. Never have I ever. Food prices are higher now, but that's not necessarily based on Biden's policies and whatnot. It's based on what happened during a freaking pandemic.
Quick, this is what I was saying when he was talking about that RK shit. That's not what he came up originally.
No,
it
it
was
wasn't.
the same thing he's doing now am I right, Nova? It was to convince you about Trump.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. But no generic name. He's not. No, he's on his cell phone. He's on mobile. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna shit on him. No, he's on mobile.
Sometimes
Watch. He's gonna come back in a second. He's probably
Hello?
talking right now.
beautiful.
What's up,
Okay,
man? We can hear you. We can hear you now.
Hey, we gotta do this another time because my shit keep cutting out.
That's what
That's
I
what we
said.
told you.
That's what I fucking said at the beginning. You didn't listen to me. We can.
All right. So, people, that was the end of it. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts on this whole thing. And honestly, Mrs. Parker did dog walk him. Like, they were literally leading him into certain situations that, if you've ever had any type of political discourse, it was easy that they were setting him up for a easy slam dunk against his own opinions, because he literally could have looked this up and be prepared, be like, here's the points that I'm gonna do, and here's where you will find the information, and this is why I'm voting for this person based on the last 4 years that they were in. They were the POTUS, that this is what happened with the economy. So this is why I'm gonna vote again for this person. But he literally had zero of that in place, and he thought he was gonna just talk to Mrs. Parker that has all her ducks in a row, and then she dog walks him and make him literally look like an idiot. And this is why you don't do this stuff. You gotta be prepared. And shouldn't you be prepared if you're really telling people, hey, I'm gonna vote for Donald Trump? Then wouldn't you have it solidified in your mind why you're voting for this person? Because he's saying he's going to vote for Trump, but yet Trump's political agenda is going to take away from his well being overall for what he thinks is right. So then why would it make sense that you can convince somebody to vote for Trump? Now, once again, I'm not for or against Trump, because once again, I'm in Canada. You need to have like a solid idea of why you are voting for somebody and why you're not voting for another person, and are these ideals reflected in your candidate that you're gonna cross that X on the ballot. Like, is this what you're gonna do? And he really didn't reflect that. This man was lost at sea, and there's so many things he could have said, he could have done that would, hey, be like, okay, well, Trump did this, or Trump did that, or Trump didn't do this, or the consequence of what you were seeing during like the first year of the Biden administration was because Trump did X, Y, and Z. Like, Trump was not a proponent of climate change. In fact, all the climate change people were pushed out, right, off Washington. Like, he wasn't gonna hear it. Even like the emissions, um, all the emissions decreases that were for certain industries like the car industry and whatnot. Trump pretty much got rid of those, right? And did that have an effect on the economy? I would say it did have a positive effect on the economy, because then those companies that had to make sure their emissions were within certain parameters for the next couple of years, we'll be like, okay, well, now we can forget about that and we can spend our money elsewhere, which might be hiring more people, maybe, which decreases the unemployment rate. I'm just thinking out loud here, but there's a lot of reasons for a lot of things. And Trump's political stance, although it's changed over time, like I said, especially with crypto, because I'm interested in that. He was anti-crypto, now he's pro-crypto, and we shall see. Watch his tweets. Ain't he on Twitter? He's back on Twitter, right? And haven't I seen him on TikTok? He is freak. Wait a second, I have seen him on TikTok, haven't I? Am I just thinking that? Frank Zen, what's up? Don't convince anyone to vote for anyone. Everyone has their vote. I generally don't care about other people's political beliefs. I guess that is a standpoint, Frank. But when you really truly believe that your person who you're voting for should be in power, wouldn't you, or wouldn't some people think, hey, maybe I can convince other people to vote who I'm voting for based on what I've seen and based on their previous results? Like once again, I get your standpoint, another person's opinion or standpoint is I'm gonna try and change as much minds as possible within the next few months so that whoever I want in is in because I think they're the best candidate for the job. So we shall see what happens. Anyways, people, I'm prepared with unfounded arguments and whatnot. Some I even looked it up. Some of the stuff he was saying, I don't know where he's getting his facts from. But I might just call bullshit. Anyways, he got dog walked, and it's nearly midnight here where I'm from, people. So I'm gonna sign off. I don't know what I'm gonna call this. I call Dario an idiot because shouldn't be an idiot because you had a choice. You either come prepared or you don't come prepared, and he literally came unprepared. Anyways, I am out of here, people. Thank you so much, Blue Eyes, Fish, Frank, Zen, Sandra, Cipher, Beaker, Never Ever Ever, and everybody else that was in here. Really do appreciate you. Stay tuned for another live stream. But yeah, I'll be around. Take care. Have a great one and have a good rest of your night. Take care. Bye bye.